Hi, so we're up to our third recipe. I almost said dessert. It is a dessert. It's called a banana bread mug cake. Now, this delectable dessert, you can also have it as a snack, small snack at any time of day. It's packed with protein, which we need for healing. It contains potassium, which helps to replenish stores if you're having a lot of diarrhea or vomiting or high ostomy output. And it provides some soluble fiber to help alleviate either diarrhea or constipation. It's also a good source of calories if your appetite is low and you're losing weight without trying. Okay, into the kitchen with Jeremy as he peels the bananas.
Thank you, Daniela. Yes, so we're making a mug cake. You may have heard of a mug cake before. Essentially, it is a quick recipe, a quick cake that you are pouring the batter into a mug, microwaving it for a short amount of time, and you have this delicious little treat. Like Daniela mentioned, we're going to make a banana bread mug cake. So that's the version we're making today. And we're using, I'll start off with the banana. Obviously, we're using some very ripe bananas, which you have here, which I think would probably be necessary for this recipe. So you might have to wait until your bananas are really ripe. If they're not ripe enough, they just won't mash properly. I guess, I mean, like if it's close to it, you can maybe blend it with like a little bit of milk or something like that. But I would really wait until they're nice and soft and very ripe and easily mashable with a fork, which is what we're doing here. So this is going to not only the texture is going to be a lot softer, a lot easier to mash. It's going to be a lot sweeter as well, which means that we won't have to add a ton of additional sugar, if that at all. So if you're okay with just the sweetness of the banana, then you don't have to add anything. If you want a little bit more sweetness, I'm going to add just a little bit of maple syrup. You can add a little bit of honey, but again, you don't need too much because these very ripe bananas will be pretty sweet on their own. And so I'm mixing that in, and essentially, make sure you get a good shot of that. Okay, essentially, we're going to start off with all of our liquid, our wet ingredients. So we have a little bit of the maple syrup, the banana. We're going to add a tablespoon of oil to this. You can add butter, melted butter if you prefer. We're going to add 1 egg to this as well. So we're going to crack the egg right in. If you want a vegan version, you can do a flax egg in this, which is 1 part ground flax, 3 parts water. Mix that. You're not going to get the same leavening that you would with the egg, but it would still work. And then, you know, you could probably comment, like nutritionally, obviously, it's not going to be comparable.
Yeah, nutritionally, it won't be comparable. You're getting more of the egg and the protein and vitamin D in the egg. But the flax option is great. It's just something, you know, whether you're able to have it as part of your diet, but it's a great option.
All right, so we have our wet ingredients. Now we're going to go ahead and add our dry. So for this, we're using oat flour. Oat flour is essentially just very finely ground oats. You can find it already ground as an oat flour in most grocery stores. But if you have a blender, then you can make your own. Essentially, you just add your oats to the blender and then blend it until it's nice and fine. A food processor will break them down. They won't get it fine enough because the surface area is too big and the blades will just sort of like whip right through it. So in a blender, I find just adding it even in small amounts at a time, if it has a small surface area, and blending it, giving it a shake, blending it, giving it a shake, that gives you a really nice fine consistency. And then you get this really nice fine sort of flour from that. Again, you can use regular all-purpose flour as well. I think for this recipe, though, we just wanted to highlight the oat. So we're going to add 4 tablespoons of the oat flour to this. and then I'll adjust if I need more, a little bit more. Half teaspoon of baking powder. Again, that will help with the leavening. And then it's going to be a spiced banana cake. So any of your favorite spices you can add. I have some cinnamon and some ground ginger that I'll be adding. Give it a little additional flavor. Then we'll mix this together. Now, if you're using all-purpose flour, you don't want to over mix because it overworks the gluten, and essentially you're going to get a very like tough, not very fluffy consistency. With the oat, you don't have to worry about over mixing, which is nice. So you can go ahead and mix to combine. And what you're looking for is essentially like a pancake batter consistency. So nice and soft. If you're finding that maybe you add a little too much flour, it's a little too stiff, just add a little bit more liquid, even a little milk or something like that to thin it out a little bit. Or if it's like too loose, then just add a little bit more flour. But essentially a nice pancake batter consistency. That is our batter. So now we'll prep our mug. While I prep the mug, Daniela, is there anything else?
Sure, yeah. So the oat flour and the banana both contain soluble fiber, but the types of soluble fiber are different. The soluble fiber in the banana is called pectin, and it can also act as what we call a prebiotic, which a prebiotic, it's not the probiotic, which is the friendly bacteria. It's actually the food for the healthy bacteria in our gut. So the prebiotic is good for feeding the healthy bacteria in the gut and replenishing that. But it's also good as a form of soluble fiber that can help manage liquid bowel movements, or if you have constipation. And then the oat flour contains beta glucan. That is also a soluble fiber. It has a number of benefits, including the ability to support proper bowel function. But in addition, it can also help with heart health because of lowering cholesterol and better blood sugar control. And then one last thing, just back to the banana, it's a great source of potassium, which you may also need if you have a lot of loss.
Fantastic. Okay, so we have our batter ready to go. Now you have your mug. This recipe will make one larger size mug like this, or two like smaller mugs. So it's about 2 servings in the recipe. And what you can do is you can grease up the mug, add a little bit of oil, add a little bit of butter. Otherwise, it sticks. You know, it washes off fairly easily, but still, it's another thing that you have to scrub and worry about after. Or this is the trick of the kitchen. I will be using some parchment paper, and again, just wetting it a little bit, just like I did with the earlier recipe, and then I can tuck it all the way in to the bottom. So it's almost like a big muffin paper liner. And there we have our mug prepped, ready to go. And then I will carefully add the batter all the way in. This is where, again, we're keeping it fairly simple. We didn't want to add any other additions to this, depending on your restrictions. You might not, be able to have nuts and seed and chocolate and stuff like that. But if you are okay with those things, this is when you can add them, right? So you can add any little bits, pecans or chocolate chips or anything you want to that. But otherwise, we're keeping this really nice and simple. So it tastes the cinnamon and the banana and the deliciousness. So there we have our batter in the mug ready to go. We're gonna microwave this on high or just like your regular setting for 90 seconds. Okay.
90 seconds. That's awesome.
Exactly. That's already quick, but I've already done it in advance too, just to make sure didn't completely fail. And there we go. There it is. It works. It makes this really quick, amazing little treat, little snack. And again, what's nice about the parchment is it comes right out, and you can unravel it. I'm going to give it a nice little scoop off the top, just so you can see. And what's nice is
Oh,
it
yeah.
still super moist.
Looks
Really,
amazing.
yeah, really nice and fluffy too.
Yes, thank you. Give it to me.
Yes, there you go.
Thank you.
Have to try. It's so good. It's so good. And again, what's nice is again with the oat flour, you wouldn't really notice a big difference if you were sort of worried about the flavor and the taste. But super fluffy. The bananas and the spices. This is great, honestly, as like a little quick snack. You don't want to make something from scratch. You don't want to go out to the store and buy treats. This is perfect. This is really, really nice. So there
And
you
a
go.
great use of overripe bananas, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. We all need more ideas to use up those overripe bananas. So yes, there it is. Our last recipe. Thank you again for joining us for another community connections from our Elixir Kitchen team. Again, just a big thank you to Colorectal Cancer Canada for joining us. And again, if you didn't have an opportunity to check out their presentation, check our YouTube channel. And we'll be posting that presentation there. Daniela, the sources again, maybe you want to mention that URL. I know you mentioned.
Yes. So if you go to the University Health Network patient education website, there are a couple of resources that might be helpful. One is know about a low fiber diet for partial bowel obstruction. The other is eating hints for people with diarrhea. And then there's the Nourish Online series on colorectal cancer that you can also find on the Colorectal Cancer Canada website. There's 3 brochures. One is for the side effects, one is for prevention, and one is for ostomy management. So great resources that you can use.
Wonderful. Thank you, Daniela. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Don't forget to join us next month for our next class on the 3rd Thursday of March, as I'm looking it up.
The 21st.
Yes, that's
The
what I
21st.
thought. The 21st of March, we have another special guest. So remember that those presentations from our partners will air at 11 o'clock, and then Daniela and I start our cooking demonstration at 12 p.m. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel already, please do so and click that notification bell, and that gives you an alert. It gives you a heads up when we have any upcoming classes or any new videos, which we love to post on there as well. That being said, happy cooking. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next time.